Hi everyone, Kirsten here. Just wanted to bring you another health nugget this Sabbath. Today we're going to be talking about improving your cognitive function and specifically ways that we can ward off Alzheimer's disease in the future. Now that we're social distancing, many people don't have quite as many activities to engage in all the time, and we have more time on our hands, so it's a perfect time to start incorporating new activities to improve cognitive function. So I want to tell you about a study. This study is done by Dr. Snowden. He started the study back in 1986. It's called the Nun Study. Very long-lasting study. He's been looking at the lives of these nuns and studying Alzheimer's disease. So he's looking at their attitudes towards life. He's looking at their intellectual accomplishments. He's looking at their writing, their autobiographies, the activities that they've been involved in their lives. And also, several of the nuns have offered to donate their brains to science after they passed away, so he's done autopsies on them as well. Alzheimer's disease is an interesting disease in that you can't officially diagnose it without an autopsy and seeing the manifestations in the brain. We can only guess and diagnose based on symptoms. So Alzheimer's disease is basically a series of clumps of protein that accumulate in the brain tissue, and it blocks the neurons from sending messages down the path to the next neuron. In response to the clumps of proteins, we call them plaques and tangles, there's also increased inflammation, and that causes neuron death. When Dr. Snowden did autopsies on some of these brains of the nuns, he found that they had brains riddled with plaques and tangles and the inflammation that we see in full-blown Alzheimer's disease, yet these nuns didn't exhibit the symptoms. Why is that? He came up with several ideas, but one of the things that he found that was consistent is that the nuns who had full-blown Alzheimer's disease in their brain yet didn't exhibit any symptoms were more likely to engage in highly intellectual practices. These nuns went to college, they were school teachers, they engaged in mentally stimulating activities throughout their lives. So the brain is like a series of roads. It's like a road map. Every time you do something new, your brain makes a pathway, and every time you reuse that pathway, it gets bigger and bigger. So in order to ward off Alzheimer's disease later in life, Dr. Snowden is suggesting that people engage in new activities, new mentally stimulating activities every day. So that includes doing something totally new that'll pave a brand new pathway in the brain. That might be learning a language, it might be reading a new book on a topic that you want to learn about, it might be learning a new hobby. All these things create new pathways in the brain. Now, when plaques and tangles form and they block a neuron, your brain has more pathways to choose from to go around that neuron. Just like if there were a roadblock, there are more detours in the brain. So this is the one thing I want to encourage you to do to improve your cognitive function today, and that is to do something new, whether it be once a week, once a day, once every couple days. Pick some activity that's brand new, and by doing so, you're creating a brand new road in your brain, and that road could be the detour in the future that will save you from the memory loss that comes with Alzheimer's disease. Hope you guys have a happy Sabbath, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future presentation.